We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the EGFC. We are here for our final match of the night. Weber State Wildcats claw gaming going up against Marquette, the Golden Eagles. This one should be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm super into both of these teams. I believe this will be the first time I've seen Marquette in a while, but glad to see them here. And Weber State put on a very strong showing last week, and I believe they'll be going with the same lineup as last week, starting off with Ray coming up against Quas, and Ray is kicking off already.
Ray opting for the Daisy, and Daisy, not a character we typically see here on the EGF, but Quas right now on this Pokemon trainer putting in a lot of work, only 25 to their name, and they're able to take that first stock via forward smash.
All right, it's a strong start to be sure, and leading off with this Ivysaur. This Ivysaur is putting in a ton of work after being forced off the Squirtle early, and they're looking for all of the shenanigans. These side beefs from Squirtle to interrupt approaches, using the fly to attempt to force super armor out of combos, and Ray is going to have to be on their toes and probably stick pretty close to the ground if they want to keep Quas from running away from this game.
The percent was nearly lapped for a moment. Mr. Saturn got pulled, but was thrown off stage. Not sure if Ray was quite ready for that option. Oh, the runoff forward air from Chaos nearly taking that stock, but Ray survives, and he'll be able to attack his way back to stage. Good turnip catch as well, but it's not going to do too much forward air. It doesn't land, but the back air will, and the stocks are even back up.
Yeah, very textbook play if you're a Peach or Daisy player, just using the turnips as an extension of your own range, but that's textbook for Ivysaur, being able to cover so many options with that dash back forward smash, as it becomes active very, very quickly. As the down throw an attempted air dodge read, but after a couple starters were found off of a grab and a down tilt, only 18% to show for it.
Ooh. Chaos is dash dancing, looking for a grab, but could not find one, but it does not matter. The pressure from him continues as Ray at 66 and back to the corner once more. Forward air, trying to find the up airs off of it, but no luck. The up B early does not catch a jump from Ray. And the two are back and forth in this neutral state, battling for stage control. What a sequence that was. Parry turnaround, and all of a sudden, the percents have really racked up here.
Yeah, and you're really looking for Ray to take this stock out as we move. Quas is hunting for some of these turnips, hunting for it to get back to the ledge as turnips come flying. Ray looking to close this out with a couple more, but the flame is off the ledge. Quas may have been in disadvantage, but wasn't out of options. And at 155, you can afford a Hail Mary like that.
Kuasa, I mean, that was a incredible. Yeah, why not? I mean, we've seen this a couple of times from players in the past, and Ray, you saw there a couple times when he had Kuasa off stage, he would go for those turnip setups. He'd pull a turnip, throw it, dash away, pull another turnip, and that takes time. And Quas said, "You don't have time when I have Flare Blitz on deck," and was able to seal away the game with that one via a 2-stock. But Quas really, I mean, from the get-go, had advantage and never really lost it.
Yeah, there was moments where Ray were starting to build stuff up, put together what Daisy is so good at, which is some of these up-close combos and covering a lot of airspace with float. And certainly there was plenty of attempts for these float cancel combos that can be so devastating. but there was just a couple of moments that really let Quas maintain and sustain their own lead, mainly off the back of Ivysaur forward smash, taking 2 stocks across the game. And with the stock lead and Charizard's weight behind him, just put it all on the line.
Yeah, 143. This is an all or nothing play. If that gets shielded, that's punished in the stock. Ooh, yeah, no, I see that too. The back air started to come out, but I think he just short hopped in and it did not reach long enough. And you know, it's also worth noting him throwing out the back air says that he was, you know, kind of ready for something. He just didn't know that it would be Flare Blitz to come through in the end. And you know, like you said, if you're at that percent, that's an all or nothing play, and why not? When you got that stock advantage, 140. If it kills, it kills. If not, you're still at a massive lead on your last stock. Yoshi's Story, the site for game number 2 here, and Boss pulling the triggers early on some of these moves.
Yeah, using Squirtle to the great effect to smother the slow-paced, the slower, more floatier movements of Daisy. She is a character that you can kind of overwhelm, to say the least, but in the same vein, she can overwhelm you and she get this grab into a back air, a combo that is going to persist for a very, very long time. The window for that is absolutely huge, but without the means to pull turnips reliably, Ray is at a serious trouble in terms of keeping Quas at bay. But the smothering on shield has been so good from them when they've gotten a chance to show off their own tech.
Both playing dangerously around these high percents. I like the idea to go for that up B, but no luck on the reversal, and he air dodged, and that's going to be the stock off the board. So Ray has his first lead of this series.
Ivysaur forward smash. You can get reintroduced to it yet again. It's a heck of a move to cover so much. When timed correctly, it can cover jump. It will reach both roll and neutral getup. The best option is just to wait, but it's hard to wait out Pokemon Trainer when they can get in your face so fluidly, as the roll on almost got caught yet again by Ivysaur forward smash.
Back air lands, and you can tell Quas is trying to. There's the up. Been looking for that all game, and Ray finally getting hit by it will lose his stock for it. Only 47 on Quas, and now working on extra credit here.
Yeah, just have not been able to get started, and while the keys have been in the car, like the down tilts and landing, some great turnips pulled as we see the Winky Face get taken out of the ground. Quas has done such an amazing job mitigating what makes Daisy so strong and forcing Ray to almost always be playing catch-up.
Ray's going to have to play a lot more catch-up if they are going to time. The Charizard back air seals the deal, and Quas with a 2-stock victory in back-to-back games gives Marquette a 6-0 lead to start.
And it's a shame if you are Weber State. You see what Ray was trying to do in so many instances: apply pressure, give yourself time, and pull a turnip. But then Quas would be in Ray's face like it was nothing. And as you mentioned, pulling turnips takes time, and sometimes it's just time you don't have. And Ray made that fatal mistake more than once in an attempt to try and get one of Daisy's best tools and give the RNG a good shot, but then get punished for it pretty hard.
And I wonder too, for Ray, if part of the game plan is going to be able to, pull those turnips in the first place, why pick a stage that is so small like Yoshi's Story? It seems almost backwards, but either way, be it a comfort pick or whatever the case may be, Quas was ready for it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yoshi's Story almost entirely benefits characters like the potent, like Ivysaur and Squirtle and Charizard even, because all of them have reliable means of killing off the top. Charizard with up smash out of shield being super quick. Ivysaur comboing out of up air is the bread and butter. Comboing out of and into up air are the bread and butters of the character, and the platform layout is extremely good for Squirtle, who juggles and combos like Mario, which is off of up airs and platform extensions. Daisy, while using up smash, is extremely good and has and that up smash is far from a bad tool in her arsenal. What Daisy really wants is long horizontal combos after multiple float cancel nairs, spacing out with forward air, as well as having the space to bulk turnips, which is why FD or stages like Town and City are more common practice. However, as we look at the bans, FD, Kalos, and Town were all nixed.
And that doesn't leave you many options after that. So
yeah,
Yoshi's
going to a neutral stage at some point.
Yep. And that being the case, Kwas was ready for it. Also, credit where credit's due to Kwas. They did a fantastic job of that matchup. I in particular, that last stock, that back air, I didn't realize how close they were to the ground to get that back air out. That's how quick that move came out and was able to seal away the stock and take that game. So Marquette, they jump out to a 6-point lead, and one that they could really use, because Marquette, they are 4-7 on the season so far, right in the thick of that playoff hunt. And Weber State at 1-2. They're trying to get back into the playoff hunt as well, especially after their big win from last week. Both these teams could really use these sets. Set number 2, players are locked in. Tiny on the side of Marquette going to make an appearance versus Yo-Yo Guy. And Yo-Yo Guy was one of the players that I think really stuck out to me the last time we covered Weber State, because this Lucario, it got the upset victory against Linny. And it was something else to watch. No Lucarios in the EGF aside from Yo-Yo Guy. And against the Jigglypuff, we got a classic Pokemon battle.
Oh yeah, and this is it's an interesting matchup for sure, and it's going to put to the test Yo-Yo Guy's flexibility with extreme speed first and foremost, because Tiny and this Jigglypuff are going to be they're going to look for edge guards and interceptions on the move from the get-go. A wide stage like Pokemon Stadium, though, generally benefits Lucario because you're able to not only have increased survivability, but also utilize it as a means of recovery, as this should just be a forward smash, and you're past the magic number, 65%, which means that is a long gone puff.
Yeah, that is the risk-reward of the rest. You either land it and possibly take the stock, or you miss and you possibly lose your stock, and in that case, Tiny ends up with the latter half of that scenario, and they're taking a lot of percent here from Yo-Yo Guy. They're already at 59. Yo-Yo Guy still surviving here at just 85. That back air, too, that hitbox starting to get stronger and stronger with more rage, and the follow-through on that neutral B is just so clean, and Tiny is all of a sudden on their last stop.
This is what happens when Lucario gets a lead. Around 65 to 100, when Aura really starts kicking in, that's really the sweet spot that Lucario wants to be at. It means Aura will be a guaranteed boost, but it also doesn't hurt your survivability too much as when you get above 100. So you're able to just take some hits and scrap out with the best of them and keep the Aura Sphere movement on point, as Yo-Yo Guy's working on a free stock, looking to keep this snowball is rolling with his Aura Sphere. And oh lord, there's a couple of really key mix-ups that he could have gone for, but coming to him as the backer comes in. You know, I can respect a Lucario player who just wants to keep it consistent, and nothing more consistent when you get Aura as that back air. It is a house and a half. Not to mention, when landing with back air, it also helps you low profile some things.
Yo-Yo Guy with a commanding first game here against Tiny. Here's another look at that back air that sealed it away. Look at the radius that back air covers with all that rage and all that aura. That is something else. And Tiny, it's going to be back to the drawing board here for game number 2. Where do you go from here? Because Yo-Yo Guy, I mean, yes, the momentum shifted after that missed rest, which, yeah, I mean, so I know down air does set up into rest. So what happens here? Does he just end up falling out of it at the last moment?
So down air rest works with wrong DI and no DI, but if you DI down air correctly, while Jigglypuff can still combo off of it, the combos you're getting off of it are stuff like other aerials, perhaps even another down air, or a neutral air, or something like a forward air. Off of this down air, because they might have landed a little bit too early in combination with the fact that the DI was inward, away from DI towards Jigglypuff's back. It's not the most consistent of confirms, as they do fall out just a little bit sooner. I'm surprised Lucario's tail didn't get clipped.
Yeah, that's shockingly close. I mean, you're seeing it kind of frame by frame here. It is very close to being a rest, and all of a sudden, if it's a rest, all of a sudden Tiny takes a stock lead, and this is a completely different story. But Yo-Yo Guy, I mean, the Lucario just looked clean. The number of follow-ups he had, it was just every hit had some sort of follow-up to it. Things like the neutral B into the back air were clean. You know, the spacing of those back airs just in general. I mean, the only thing we really didn't see was grab combos, but he didn't need them in that set.
Yeah, and Lucario's grab combo game is good. Oh, you best be careful. That could have been a stock gone at 92 already. No shortage of damage output on this Puff, but at 92, Puff better be very, very careful as the stage interrupts the Aura Sphere, but Get Up Attack gets them back online.
Now, Yo-Yo Guy's got a ton of rage, and like you said, Tiny's got to play careful now because that stock weren't able to seal the way early, and the percent is really going to rack up now. Look how much space that neutral B covers. Where do you go if you're Jigglypuff? I mean, look, that covers so many options, and Tiny's able just barely to avoid it. But because of all the pressure, the percents are now even. Dash attack off the missed tech, though, will clean up that stock.
Gets an up tilt, but it was early up tilt, allowing Tiny to escape. And going air with Puff isn't the best, but you have that frame 5 counter as a means of getting out of dangerous situations. But Yo-Yo Guy is going to need to find something now, as this aura is going to be a little bit off. You should be in a pretty good spot, but I love the short hop game that Tiny has been doing, being a whole lot more careful as the parry lets Yo-Yo Guy get out of danger, but you still need to find a way in to put Tiny in danger, and the Aura Sphere charge will certainly do it. These B reverses in are being very, very consistent for Yo-Yo Guy.
I like what I'm seeing from Yo-Yo Guy too. Even when he gets down aired and he air dodges off stage, he just is very calm about it. There's no panic afterwards. It's just, okay, Lucario's recovery, it's pretty good in terms of its length. Let me just get the right angle here and make sure, and then he's able to snap to ledge around Tiny trying to frame him. So good poise by Yo-Yo Guy, and then just to cleanly get back to stage and follow up too, as things on this second stock here relatively even, if you take into account how light both of these characters are, and that connects. That's going to be the stock. And all of a sudden, Yo-Yo Guy has put Tiny back on the back foot again.
So Lucario can be a really tense character to play, because you do have to have your survivability on point, both on DI and knowledge of the opponent's setups, as well as many other tricky little things like the E-speed control. But there are some times when you can just dash back forward smash, as we see there. Tiny pulls the same trick, and it works to full effect. Both Jigglypuff and Lucario having incredibly strong forward smashes, but not to mention that forward tilt, which is able to take Tiny across the stage until we see some down air loops. Both of these two just are going from one confirmed to the other without missing a beat.
And Yo-Yo Guy right now, ooh, that was a forward smash waiting, but could not pull the trigger in time. Percent's very close here. Tiny landing a lot of these down airs, and they both have to be very careful. The kill potential on both of these characters we've seen is very high. It only takes really one good opening, good back air, but Yo-Yo Guy smartly just recovers low. Not many edge guard options for Tiny in that scenario. And that neutral B, again, being charged up. It covers so much space. Tiny slowly pushing in with these short hop back airs, short hop neutral airs. That neutral B clips. The follow-up up air, not going to do it quite yet. The neutral B, he'll be able to avoid it. Up air won't find its mark either. Possibly a back air incoming. Good parry, but both playing very tense here. The side B actually knocks him away, and neutral gets reset.
Yeah, it's getting very, very tense, but Aura Sphere is such a house. Gets grabbed. Jigglypuff doesn't have a reliable kill throw. Going down, the attempted reversal is what gets Yo-Yo Guy killed. That is so rough on his part. But a great awareness on Tiny to see Yo-Yo Guy take the final swing and not only avoid it, but counteract accordingly. Jigglypuff having those multiple jumps, meaning you can be flexible off stage, while Yo-Yo Guy is probably better off just getting to ledge as soon as possible and setting up that exact Aura Sphere trap. At high percents, it's very, very difficult to avoid. But Tiny given the chance, oftentimes just landing right back on stage and taking advantage of Lucario's not as good ability to cover landings as well. Especially Jigglypuff, whose airspeed is nuts.
Yeah, and this game was really anyone's to grab because they were both, finding ways in on each other. And Yo-Yo Guy, I feel like this was his game. If that back air lands, that surely would have been the stock, but it was just kind of right idea, wrong execution. The second he gets hit off stage, that back air, it could, if it lands, that is the game. But Tiny played this really well, for being at an early deficit here on that second stock to say, hey, I'm just gonna wait for a mistake to come through from Yo-Yo Guy and punish. That's kind of what Jigglypuffs have been known for, and he was able to capitalize that on game 2.
Yeah, if there's anything I could say for Tiny, it's to be a little bit less gung-ho about going in with forward air and pound sometimes. It's gotten them forward smashed more than once. But Yo-Yo Guy also needs to sometimes be a little bit more flexible with what they're looking for. Often getting caught hunting for Aura Sphere confirms and what that can provide to them without really treating Aura Sphere as mix-up potential in addition to its status as kill confirm and damage output shenanigans.
Ooh, that air dodge is gonna be the end of Tiny's first stock, and Tiny knows it too. That was a mistake, and he will have to find a way to come back from it now, as Yo-Yo Guy has a pretty decent early lead here, only 56% on this first stock here for Yo-Yo Guy, and Tiny with stage control trying to find a way to weave in, and has not been able to do so far in this third game.
This stage is extremely good for Lucario, mainly for the blast zones, though platforms are generally very good to help you out your landing, as we see a couple forward airs in an attempt to cover Great Beer versus Aura Sphere. But if Tiny's able to put Yo-Yo Guy on the platforms like they have been wanting to, then the coverage from the coverage that Jigglypuff can put in that smaller space is extremely strong. It could be a way back into this game without it ending up like game 1.
Ooh, good dash attack once again. We saw that take a stock last game, but not the case here in game number 3. Not enough percent onto this Lucario. Good forward air to get him off stage, and he'll be able to grab the ledge. Down air connects, so a lot of percent now on this Lucario, but Tiny can't find a way to get another hit and seal away this stock, and now a ton of aura on board for Yo-Yo Guy, and that neutral B, again, covering so much space. Here's the trap at the ledge. No follow-up on the roll. And they both play dangerously off stage once again. Down air still landing, but not a lot of percent. Good parry on the up B, and then that's the command grab coming through there from Yo-Yo Guy, sealing away Tiny's second stock.
Not oftentimes will you be able to catch a Jigglypuff shielding, but that was one of them, and Yo-Yo Guy made the most of it and can take advantage of this lead in spades. As Jigglypuff is at death percent. I'll not sugarcoat it.
40, that was a quick, 40 to 64% just off of one up air. The amount of damage this Lucario can do is incredible, but they lose their Rage and Aura to that back air, so Yo-Yo Guy just poking away at the ledge, knowing anything, he gets anything on the board here, it's just, forcing Tiny to play more and more perfect, but won't get the combo there, and Tiny's still looking for a way to even things back up if they can. Opting to go to the other side of the stage here from the underside, but it almost won't matter. That forward smash nearly finding the stop.
And not having the requisite amount of aura in order for the sour spot to really make, in order to close out the stock even on Puff. But going Aura Sphere into grab, very clean stuff from Yo-Yo Guy to mix up what he's gonna do out of the charge at 130. Yeah, that back air is huge, catching Tiny, trying to drift away and take over that corner space. But after many a times, Yo-Yo Guy showed that they were willing to break into Tiny space. Usually it was with grounded moves like forward tilt, which can be difficult to parry, but that time not rising in with the back air, and it will certainly take the stock at those percents.
Yeah, Yo-Yo Guy just looked very clean throughout this set.
that was like, as a Lucario player myself, to be able to, and unfortunate SD aside, Tiny was playing in ways to get back into the game, but it felt like after the first stock of game one, they had lost a lot of confidence in potential rest confirms, and Yo-Yo Guy took advantage of it every single stock, even across all of the games in this set, just surviving until at least 100% every single time, and that's huge.
We talked about survivability in a couple other sets, right? Because every stock is so important. If you can survive at those incredibly high percents, it can do wonders for you, not only because of Rage, but for Lucario in general. You get that aura, you get the Rage on top, and you can take stocks so early. I mean, that back air, look at the space that back air covers. That's, incredible. And Yo-Yo Guy able to take full advantage of it. That survivability really being a huge factor. And because of that victory, the score is now tied up at 7 apiece as we get ready for our third set.
Yeah, as we last saw Weber State, who you mentioned they were 1-2, but they started off their presence in the EGF by having to DQ 1 week, and then playing against UT Arlington, who we saw before is kind of shaping up to be the best team in the league, period. So it's a rough start for sure, but after getting on the board last week and starting off exactly the same this week with an early loss, but Yo-Yo Guy setting up the team back on track as we go through the rest of the roster. Are you experiencing a little deja vu, Soy?
Maybe. I mean, it's entirely possible, but I will say Marquette is one of these teams on the flip side of this that plays everyone very close. Their point differential is 33, and for a team that's just or minus 33. So for a team that's below 500 to have that minus point differential, not surprising. But for it to only be 33, that's really not all that much. You could easily make that back up. I mean, you saw UTA pull off a 30-point victory just earlier today. That being said, a lot is going to ride on this third set. The players have been locked in. Doc Hunt being locked in for the side of Weber State. That's the Duck Hunt player that we saw last week who looked very, very good. I think they got at least 1 3 stock in their set. And Spencer coming in for the side of Marquette. Spencer, one of the kind of grizzled veterans of this Marquette roster, been here for a long time. 7-1 this season. This Ness has played very, very well.
Ooh, okay, Ness into Duck Hunt Dog. It's certainly a matchup that's a little bit more awkward. Ness not being the most uncommon character, but how they interact with Duck Hunt is going to be interesting. How much can they absorb, and when will they find the time to? Like the different properties on not only the can and the shots from the clay pigeon, but also the different gunmen have different guns which have different properties. So there's a lot to take into account for, but Ness is known to be just a thorn in many a character's side, as this is easily the best incarnation of Ness ever, period. So we'll have to see how this version of Ness can overwhelm or perhaps just ignore some of Duck Hunt's setups with that PSI magnet.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, these are two players that I think, especially moving forward, they feel like kind of the stars of the show, with Spencer being as successful as he has this season, opting for a character swap. And this is interesting. You talked about the intricacies of Ness versus Duck Hunt with, all of the different properties between the gunmen. I think the plan here for Spencer is to just kind of simplify that and say, all right, let me just get a reflector instead and not have to worry as much about it with this Palutena.
The problem I think here is that the matchup of Palutena is a matchup that everybody has to know, period. Especially if you play a character that is reliant on set play, and Palutena being the force in the metagame that she is, if you don't know how to understand and overwhelm Palutena's amazing set of tools, then Smash Ultimate might not be the game for you, as the Duck Hunt definitely has shown some experience in this matchup last week against N-City, and are taking that same experience and putting it to the test here, but Spencer isn't gonna let things go just yet.
Good up air catch there by Spencer to even up the stocks, but he is at 83. And you're seeing Duck Hunt being able to find a couple of those combos. Oh, shoot, what's the name of the discus? It's the clay pigeon. Yeah, we saw a couple of the clay pigeon combos in the early portions of this stock in particular. And that can, I like the idea there, nearly finding a way to throw that can into Spencer, and that could have been the stock, but no dice quite yet.
Now, what I find always fun about this can, and you mentioned it with the reflector all available for Palutena, is that if you reflect the can, Duck Hunt can no longer control it with the tap of the B button. He can only hit it like with normal moves. Whether that will come up or not, uncertain, because Palutena's reflect is based on a counter and not its own standalone button. But in a matchup like Duck Hunt, a lot of weird things come up in this game.
It will have to see. I will say, we talked about survivability in the last set. Look at that percent right now for Spencer, 182. And Duck Hunt, I mean, there have been opportunities, but Spencer's been able to find a way out of them until there. The setup on the ledge into the can seals away that stock, and now Duck Hunt, he's at 115. This is kill percent. If he can find one strong hit, Spencer could even things back up, and there it is. The back air seals the deal, and all of a sudden, a game that looked rough for Spencer off the start is now dead even.
And hold your tongue about even as we go to Palutena neutral there, but it didn't lead to as much damage as usual, and 22, but getting stuffed out by the auto reticle. Duck Hunt looking for ways to confirm out of so many of his tools, but the trap fell apart and let him open for a punish. Well, feels like he's just playing runaway dog with some of these interactions, as Spencer has done an amazing job breaking through this zone time and time again. As I'd like to point out the fact that, yeah, Doc Hunt is in fact the Duck Hunt dog. Spencer repping the Palutena.
And look at all these cans that Doc Hunt is finding. Just connecting time and time again. Even catching that up B recovery. Setting up the gunman too so he can't stay down low. And now these cans are getting very dangerous. What angle are they going to approach you from while he's setting up the gunman too? So much for Spencer to keep track of. But despite all that, he's got Doc Hunt off stage. The down tilt nearly taking the stock. Spencer feeling confident. Nair's not going to do it quite yet. The situation's been reversed, and the up air is landed, and Doc Hunt takes game one.
Well, we have the taunt to get bodied, as there was a chance, a moment here where Spencer decided, I can chill out and go for a taunt as I wait for Duck Hunt's slow recovery. Missed the drop zone neutral air off of a very well timed air dodge, and got immediately punished with a jump call out from Doc Hunt. It's how you draw it up if you are Doc Hunt, being able to get past a consistent edge guard and blow and take the stock as a result. As, man, so many of these can setups, while the gunman and clay pigeon setups weren't always landing, the can placement was magnificent from Doc Hunt to keep them in the game, and when it got a little bit out of hand in that final stock, and always ever prevalent nearby Spencer and forcing them to respect that space.
That second stock is where Spencer really started to find some momentum. He was at such a high percent for so long that he was able to chip away at Spencer. And you see here, this was a great setup.
Was so good. That was so good.
Get up attack into the can while he's pressing the B button to make sure that the height gets him there and connects. And now a swap back to the tried and true Ness here for Spencer, as Smashville, the site of game number 2.
Yeah, and this is generally about what you think when you think Ness gameplay. A couple aerials and a couple PK fires. But at the start of this game, it's Doc Hunt under control, but the smaller space is going to make it real difficult for Doc Hunt to use that same game plan as before. The runaway dog won't have much room to run away, and Spencer is going to heal a lot of damage off the explosion from this can.
Doc Hunt, because of that absorb, now finds himself at a percent deficit, and in terms of scrapping, you really like what Spencer can do. That was a great side magnet there that actually gave him the opening, but Spencer is at 100%. Good dash attack, just going in, ignoring all the projectiles. Actually went back and side magneted the can there, messing with the... Oh, okay, well, never mind. Up smash is just going to seal the deal there for Doc Hunt. And stock number 1 is off the board.
That's great on Doc Hunt for not panicking in that moment. Spencer running straight at him, wanted to call out a roll. Didn't think back throw would kill, perhaps, but Doc Hunt wasn't going to let him try and mix his block. Though Spencer does follow up with an up smash in order to close out the stock. We're getting into a very similar position as game 1, despite the character, where this second stock is just getting worked on in this early game. But will Spencer have the chance to come back? And smaller stage, smaller blast zones, and not nearly as much evasive ability from this Ness. So the floaty kid is going to try and find a pop-up, but the great DI on the PK fire.
That was a huge opportunity missed out on there by Spencer. Couldn't quite find that grab thanks to the air dodge. And Doc Hunt now with stage control once again. Spencer's got to be very careful. He'll be able to snap back to ledge. Weaved around all the projectiles. Got the grab as well. This is an opening for him. Holds back. Now pulls the trigger on the back air, but it's a little too early. The can connects and it spins him off to the left. That can. Oh, great side magnet to get back, but he can't snap to the ledge in time, and the down tilt ends up taking the stock. And all of a sudden, Spencer's on his last stock.
The layers to some of these traps, expecting Spencer to utilize and potentially even overuse. Oh lord, that's no jump, but missing the second down air. The counterplay to PSI Magnet has been huge for Doc Hunt, but Spencer can always find ways to get a little bit of health back and to get this stock off of Duck Hunt. The survivability has proven to be there time and time again on both of his characters, but will it last him in this 2-stock game as Can keeps finding its way back to be a nuisance into Spencer's face?
Ooh, up smash, almost finding its mark into the Can. Not gonna do it quite yet. He'll have to be careful around this one. He will be able. Oh my God! That was a tricky setup. That up smash nearly finding the stock. Spencer knows he's got to find a way to answer back, and he answers back with the neutral air. But he's at 155. He's working on borrowed time. So many setups. So tricky with this Doc Hunt dog. And now, how do you play around this Can once more? Projectile after projectile comes through, and there's just too much to avoid. It's a firing squad out there, and Doc Hunt takes advantage.
I don't disagree with Spencer's play, however, because especially in that last moment, because at 155-0, the stock is almost more assured to be dropped if you let Duck Hunt set up with Can and Gunman in a portion of the stage. Duck Hunt struggling to kill happens when Duck Hunt doesn't get the time to set up, and albeit it takes a while to do so. So by trying to push the envelope, you get and perhaps an even early percent combo, you can get a little bit of momentum and a little bit of advantage on your side, while Doc Hunt is left scrambling with only a Can, since Can does come out on frame 1. It's a tense situation, but I don't disagree with the play. But at 155, it's hard to make a comeback on any character.
No, I agree. I think Spencer had the right idea to try and go in, try and make something happen. But, I mean, credit where credit's due. Doc Hunt made this game so difficult for Spencer. There were, like you said, there were layers on layers on layers to these traps, and just, you have to keep track of so much. Even the Can there, bouncing off the stage, and all of a sudden it's a reversed angle into your up B. You have to get there earlier now, all of a sudden, to hit that angle to get back to the ledge. And I feel like it was just kind of a matter of time on that last stock. Spencer did a very good job of holding on, but Doc Hunt just had a read on what to do. And by the time it got to this point, Doc Hunt had all the cards in his hand.
Yeah, we see a little surprise on the duck in that final frame. The gunman hitting the Can, just really great job on Doc Hunt, like throughout both games, of using the ability to just jump off the stage as a piece of advantage. It took, especially in that last stock, it took Spencer to run the full stage and then attempt to track whether or not Doc Hunt was going to go to ledge or land back on stage, while it gave Doc Hunt the opportunity, that little extra time, to set up a gunman, to set up a Can, and to put themselves in the thick of things. And that scramble made all the difference.
Set number 4 coming up here. This is Dwyzar for the side of Marquette, going up against Yep. And Yep, in his 2 appearances, he's had 2 different characters, Ness and ZSS. Ness seems to be the appearance for today. And Dwyzar on the Yoshi. 5-3 so far in the season, and a huge factor of Marquette's success as he nearly found that spike.
Yeah, going back to the Ness here, and it's all been air-to-air character. Either way, it's an air-to-air character going into this Yoshi, who, while Ness has a lot of success in midair thanks to the floaty nature and these massive hitboxes, Yoshi, the air character in a lot of ways, because this dinosaur has the highest air acceleration in the game, and they're lucky that not missing a beat is Dwyzar seeing the tech scenario and punishing accordingly without even needing a jab lock.
That was so clutch from Dwyzar. So first you get the recognition of almost breaking the shield, but I think it's few and far between the Yoshis that we've seen follow up with something like a down smash in that scenario. That just looked very well thought out. But unfortunately, the yo-yo clipped, and for Dwyzar, that means the stock is off the board. So things are back to even, and yep, he's giving himself another chance here. He's trying to find some combos. He's slowly chipping away at this percent, nearly getting it back to even, armoring through, but he's got the percent lead.
Yeah, so Dwyzar looking to try and get that lead back, especially after Yep has just found a lot of opportunity with this bi-platform stage and the PK fires, but most importantly, it's been the nairs on Yep's part, finding basically a neutral air out of just about anything in order to keep his combos short and sweet, but nonetheless damaging. Oh man, Dwyzar keeps up with the Yoshi metagame. This Yoshi has already been looking clean, but landing the drag down back air to forward air popularized by Pharaoh, and definitely executed to perfection by Dwyzar here, gaining that lead with a strong forward smash finisher.
Yeah, the drag downs being a huge factor, but speaking of drag downs, Yep gets the drag down into that back throw, and things are once again back to even between these two. Oh my goodness, well, I said even, but Dwyzar's combo game on point right now. Quick 74, and still looking to follow up, has him off stage. Oh my goodness, fell right into it. The floaty boy had nowhere to go, and what goes up must come down. Dwyzar gets the first game.
I think we can pour one out for Hurtbox shifting, as Dwyzar played absolutely insane, but as we take a look at this forward smash that comes out, look at the rear back Yoshi throws out here. Just like his nose is actually reaching like where am I at? Okay, wait, let's try that again. His nose is actually reaching a more or less here, not that full distance, but like it's reaching far, right? And yet he's all the way back here. So Yep trying to play aggressive, trying to come down here and snipe, is just not in the trajectory to hit the pulled back Yoshi, whose Hurtbox is well out of the way of that forward air. Or more like just out of the way of that forward air.
Yeah, barely. Just a couple of frames difference there, and I mean, that was a well-spaced forward. Oh my goodness, Dwyzar just does not care that it's the start of another game. He wants this stock, and he wants it now, nearly finding the spike of that forward air, but Yep is able to get back to stage. So for game number 2 here between these two, is I mean, that first game was very close, but Dwyzar it felt like the combos were just a lot cleaner. Yep, it felt like the combos were few and far between, whereas Dwyzar, everything had a follow-up.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ness's big combo extension game comes out of up air, and at these low mid percents where up air combos, Yoshi can double jump out of those combos and out of those strings with the greatest of ease, with the armor coming out on frame 1. So it's tough for Ness to find the true extensions that they're looking for, forced to try and cut off combos short. Yep, tried it in the beginning of this game and didn't find it. Meanwhile, Yoshi has full access to his full kit, not to mention that up air being a amazing both starter, extender, and finisher.
Ooh, that neutral B nearly finding its mark. Dwyzar got the egg off stage, and the Nair follow-up. That's a dead Ness, and Yep, can't even get a trade off of it. Dwyzar gets away, and all of a sudden, well, I was going to say things are even back up off of that up smash, but there it is off the up there. It is an even game, a stock apiece.
Yeah, Dwyzar trying to get out of danger and get back to center, but use their double jump a little too early, but the grab misses on Yep's part. Dwyzar potentially having a chance to intercept, but the forward air beats out forward air, and Yep trying to take this as far as they can. And the Yoshi's double jump is just such it can be so hard to deal with, and it has gotten DWiser out of a lot of hairy situations.
Good side B there. And the other portion, too, I feel like Ness is one of those characters that can really benefit. I mean, a lot of characters can benefit from doing something like taking a double jump, but with Yoshi's armor, it makes it a whole lot harder. That being said, they find the up air there to seal away that second stock, and Lizar, he's got a lot of work to do here. Yep is only at 47%.
Yeah, and has been looking for manual extensions off of things like landing down air, as if Yoshi's gonna try and double jump through or air dodge through, Ness has hitboxes to cover that. This kid can throw out a ton of buttons in rapid succession, but DWiser does take the stop off mixed tech. Yeah, it is consistent as it gets. Jab 1 forward smash, and Yoshi's got a big, thick skull on their head.
I'm also shocked that that first set of jabs came out. It looked like Yep was going to get something more, and then the initial jab from DWiser set up that tech chase, in which DWiser got there first and got the jab lock. So good stuff to DWiser to get Yep to his last stock, but a lot of work still to be done. DWizer's at 123. He's got to be very careful at this high of a percent. Oh, that was nearly it. The yo-yo almost connecting, and DWiser forced to the corner once again.
DWiser working back and forth, trying to use Yoshi's solid ground speed as the down B comes out. Yep, just looking for any stray hit or into that grab. Throw kill. Ooh, with DI like that, it sure will. As that is game 2.
Game 2 going over to Yep. So Weber State, they get an extra point on the board. And this one, again, it felt a lot cleaner from Yep. DWiser, I feel like he kind of had a big swing, especially in the middle of game number 1 around that second stock. This second stock belonged to Yep. DWiser really could not get anything done after losing his first stock.
Yes, it was pretty solid overall. Coming out from both sides, right? DWiser doing well in order to bring the game back in a rough scenario, but Yep looked a little bit more confident in the Yoshi matchup overall, due to acknowledging when to extend and when to cut their own combo short, and that let them gain a lot more damage by when to prioritize combo state over advantage state. But Battlefield is the pick for Yoshi and is the pick for DWiser, which is it's a good stage for Yoshi, to say the least. One of their best, and if Pokemon Stadium doesn't work, the Tribe Clats and big blast zones of this stage will give Yoshi total free range of movement.
And off the start, DWiser is off to, well, a little bit of an early lead that gets quickly negated. Look at how the only 0.2% difference there as the forward tilt comes through, and now Yep is the one in the lead. That yo-yo doesn't connect, and the forward smash beats it out. What spacing from DWiser!
But the roll call out on Yep's part to sense that DWiser on the platform wanted to roll, and the up smash was covering both sides anyway. Clean stuff on both sides to play around each other incredibly well, but the damage is starting to rack up for DWiser.
Ooh, that's a good air back to stage from DWiser, and now at 98%, still trying to find a way. We got stage control, and Yep, in a bit of a pickle here, but that back air is huge. Got Yoshi off stage. Good jump back to stage, though. And both playing very carefully around these high percents. Good grab, back throw, will do it. That is the stock, and all of a sudden, DWiser is now on their last stock here. Ooh, I thought that was a shield break for sure.
Yeah, good drop shield on Yep's part. Take the hit, and Battlefield will help you, help your survivability, and you don't get your shield busted, as DWiser looking for a back air, whether it be a confirm off of it or just a raw back air. Tough to call immediately. Have to follow their drift well as a grab comes in. Naring through the egg and it contesting Yoshi's drop zone aerial and still making it back with Ness's air dodge. Huge play on Yep's part to maintain this stage and maintain his lead, forcing DYzer into some rough scenarios as the parry comes in too.
Ooh, tough spot for DYzer. Yep, at 169 right now, and still a stock in pocket. That forward air gonna catch DYzer once again. Up air not gonna land. Battle for stage control here. Very carefully, back air gonna land, but it's not going to be enough to take the stock quite yet. And Yep, just buying himself some time. If he can continue to chip away at this stock, it makes the comeback even more difficult, but he won't have to chip away anymore. He's able to take it with the up smash, and this set goes to Weber State.
Wow, a tight set until the very end. But Yep, showing off survivability of their own and the willingness just to run up and up smash. Throwing out that yo-yo, accepting the fact that DYzer didn't seem like they were as prepared as needed for this low active hitbox that could harass shields and harass aerial movement as well. Came in clutch multiple times. This time on this replay though, not so much, as Yoshi's big ol' head takes out Yep for the first stock, but that was the last stock that they managed to take.
And that was a huge point too. The fact that this was a 2-stock victory, you put an extra point on the board for Weber State. I believe that gives them 16 overall. And that means that Marquette, the only way they can get a W is in overtime. And that's going to require a perfect set from their 5th player. But credit where credit's due to both of these players. They played this one very well. It was very close. But Yep was the one who came out on top. And it's like you said, you know, the adaptation from Yep, it was just clean. And DYzer had started off, I think, really kind of just came out full force and just said, I'm going to beat you and I'm going to try and beat you early. And Yep slowly started to figure out that game plan and was able to adapt and overcome.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters in this game that you just need to shift how you play against them just a little bit. Ness actually being one of them, having so many good air-to-airs, it's really hard to extend against them in certain situations unless you have something like a disjoint or some added range, like a character like Lucina or Wolf, etc., etc. But Yoshi falls into that category too, knowing how to extend on Yoshi, looking for where they double jump, acknowledging the fact that sometimes Yoshi will just get out of jail for free, and you need to play a little bit more chase down, and instead of just going through your combo flowchart as you would normally. It seemed like Yep in the game 1 side, it gave a little bit too much respect to that double jump armor and just looked to finish combos with Nair, would get 1 to 2 hits, Nair, and let it be. While in the later games was much more willing to try and press DYzer of when they would use that double jump and almost forcing them to hold it as the games went on.
And Yep was able to, like you said, press that all the way to a victory. So as we get ready for set number 5, the players have been locked in. It is Diora, I believe, going in for the side of Weber State versus Frood, I believe is how you pronounce that, for the side of Marquette. 2 players that we haven't seen a ton of. Diora opting for the Mario, I believe that is. Actually, no, this is Beta going in for the side of Weber State. We haven't seen a ton of Beta. They were in the very first week, and they looked very strong, but since then has not made an appearance. And on the flip side of that, Frood, this Captain Falcon, 0-1, made their first appearance last week, or FRUD, excuse me, making their first appearance last week, 0-1. We'll see if they can bounce back from that here.
Yeah, this is one of the matchups that's kind of a claim to fame for a little bit. Mario and Captain Falcon, two iconic characters in both iconic and comic characters of the Nintendo and Smash Ultimate Smash Brothers series, looking to get these vertical combos, but where Mario can make the difference is not only do his fast forward combos be devastating, but also having a consistent out of shield. Oh, an extension on the platform too. That was cute. Having a fast jab is nice. Being able to just make a little bit more damage off of a platform extension, and Beta looking to prove themselves the alpha in this game one.
Bit of a trade there on that up B. I did like how Beta was able to take that first stock, though. That turnaround up smash is just so strong, and it's a good kind of surprise option at times. And, ooh, good back throw, but not going to do it quite yet. Beta will survive here. And another trade on that up B. That's a couple of times that the up B just has not been able to fully, connect. That's numerous times that has happened, is having some technical difficulties for the moment. We'll get a word on that. But from what we saw off the start, I guess, what are your initial thoughts on these two players?
FRUD is a... As we're getting word, the Switch crashed, so we're going to have to restart that game. But from the opening that we saw, Beta looked very confident in their combo game, as you should as a Mario player. It is what takes Mario from a good all-around character to the top levels of play, to be very honest. And Captain Falcon from FRUD looked just a little bit hesitant, because while Falcon does have an insanely strong combo game with with starters like Nair 1, Raptor Boost, and more falling up air, all generally leading into not only more up airs, but can finish off with back airs or knees. It looked, not only was there a little bit of hesitation on and a little bit playing conservative on FRUD's part in order to avoid Mario's own combo game, but also an almost too willing to try and take to the air in order to counteract the in order to go into approach. Excuse me. While that is generally well and good, with Falcon Nair being an insanely good button to try and approach with, sometimes it's best to try and use that speed on the ground first and find a grounded starter to pop up. Not to mention, Falcon also has a devastating 50-50 at high percents, where you can be worried about the grounded starter, or he can run up to you and force you to shield while going in for a command grab in that Falcon dive, which can not only scoop from very far, but also take stocks surprisingly early.
Yeah, and we saw a couple of times that be traded as, right before the Switch crash. We saw, I think 2 or 3 different times, Beta was able to get that Nair out in time and stop that up B. So something to look at as that matchup progresses. But I think there's another aspect to note, which is that, we talked about how there are players that like to kind of tunnel vision and go for that combo game, just run straight forward. I feel like Beta is one of those players that actually he's kind of a flex in terms of, tunnel vision the combo or play that more defensive style. Things like the up smash out of shield are a Mario classic, I feel like. And Mario's a character that can, he's adaptable. He can kind of play both ways.
Yeah, Mario infinitely flexible for a lot of different play styles, but there's generally seen as 2 camps of Mario. While usually for Falcon, it's the main idea of trying to go hard and fast. The flexibility of Mario comes in the fact that you can play to put it into simpler terms, you can play what is their new tag? It was Kurama, but now it's something else. But Kurama, the Mario player, is much more focused on combos, extension, and looking for starters off of a suite of very safe aerials and using Mario's floaty nature to get back and forth and cross up shields extremely well. Or you can play a more Dark Wizzy style of Mario, which plays a lot more grounded, use a couple of consistent combos that you can find off of throws, and most importantly, utilize Mario's out of shield game as consistent damage and stage control coming first and foremost. It's a very defensive style of Mario that uses up smash and up special out of shield a ton. Being able to flip back and forth between the two is the ideal style of Mario, but sometimes players are, focus on one camp over the other. We'll have to see how Beta is at doing just that. But if it's like how you say, then the ability to just change up how they want to approach a matchup at the drop of a hat is extremely strong.
And we've seen a couple of Marios in the EGF, and the ones that have been here and played here have had a lot of success. And while we haven't seen a ton of Beta, again, this is only his second time in the spotlight here in the EGF. The first time we saw him, he had a very strong result, and he was able to, kind of find that balance of defense to offense and so on and so forth. But Weber State, just in general, they are, again, one of those teams that we don't know a ton about because they are so new to the league. But from what we've seen, when they are all together, they can, have these big impactful plays. And for a player like Beta who took a week off, I guess, to come back here in a clutch moment, right? This is set number 5. He can't afford to give up, all he needs is a stock. It feels like he is one of kind of the go-to guys for this Wildcats roster.
It seems that way, given the confidence of which he was able to approach not only being anchor, but also approaching this matchup. Just taking hits in stride, looking for an up air nair chain, but Falcon being a fast faller is a little bit more difficult to follow up off. Shoutouts to Bren playing that Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, as Beta looks for the roll in, but did not find it.
Ooh, look at that follow-up, but no forward air there. I actually like the idea to try and turn that one around, but no follow-ups quite yet. Both playing dangerously around this ledge, but in with the forward smash. Where did that come from? Beta point.
He looks for that a couple times, but didn't get it. And Frud was conditioned to think that, or gave himself the thought that because he had rolled out a couple times, Beta would try and hunt that down. No, sir. Beta stuck to their guns. Uh-oh. This is Mario to a T. Up airs off just about anything. Though Frud looking for the stomp at ledge and not finding it. And it was a little bit too far for the Falcon dive, too.
Good snap to ledge, and that's a little bit too low for Frud, and all of a sudden, Beta at 125, he has the potential to get 3-stock here, but I mean, at 140, you're asking a lot from a Mario. This should be a forward throw, but it's not going to be the stock quite yet. Beta's still surviving. Good snap to ledge, but he will cover just about everything, and Frud will get his first stock on the board.
But extending off the platform, but missing the grab as well. That's unfortunate for Beta, who could have had a huge combo on their hand. Yet it's Frud who's constantly being placed on the back foot, looking for the forward air afterward. Well-timed air dodge on Frud's part. And now we get to see what they can do with it, looking for a run-up down smash, but no punish from it.
And I do kind of like some of the mix-ups that Beta has right now. He gets caught out by that up B, but you're seeing when he has some of those combo starters, the way he goes for something like forward air to try and extend that combo or try and, finish his combo, he'll reverse it or he'll just kind of wait on it for a second, and it's very scary for the moment. But that being said, able to turn that edge guard situation around, and the stocks are even, but that forward smash lands, and Beta takes game number 1 and steals the W for Weber State.
I mean, I believe the W was sealed as soon as they took one stock, but taking the game as well is pretty nice. And when you're taking games with a play like this, we let it roll, but that this landing on shield. We're gonna subtract a couple frames, move it forward a little bit. So Frud is blocking, of course. He doesn't want to just stand up into a back air. But where this nair comes out, this frame 3 hits the top of the shield, this is so ambiguous of whether or not Beta is going to cross up or not. Because the momentum is pulling him this way, but they're on this side of the shield. They're on his left, but they're going to the right as I'm trying to draw. Sorry, not necessarily an artist. But this ambiguous cross-up can let Mario drift correctly either one way or the other, and Frud in this 50-50 where they get a chance to drop shield, looking for a chance to drop shield and punish, guess is wrong.
Yeah, you see the forward tilt come out and go the opposite direction, and Beta was right there with the forward smash to capitalize. That's a relatively quick forward smash too. So just good recognition by Beta, realizing, hey, he missed. I can punish, and was able to seal away game number 1 because of it. And really, the use of forward smash 2 from Beta to seal away not just stock number 3, but stock number 1 as well. It's something that I feel like, when you think about ways Mario takes stocks, you think of the combo game, you think of the forward air spike, you think of up smash out of shield and things like that. But forward smash, not necessarily typically on the table as much, but Beta finding a lot of mileage out of it.
Yeah, it functions a lot like Yoshi forward smash, or maybe Yoshi forward smash functions a lot like Mario's, where it has a really good pushback. It has a sweet spot on the fire, making a nice explosion there, as it's just goes with how Mario's kit is as a whole, where while there may not be a ton of things to really write home about, though Mario does have a suite of aerials that are absolutely insane. It's everything in his kit that, while you may not put it to be the best, one of the best in the game, like bar none, everything works in tandem so unbelievably well, and it's the benefit of being just so good at everything that the flexibility really comes through, and you can find a use for just about any tool, especially given those up air, back air, and nairs all being so. It's a great foundation to build upon any character archetype. Because, I mean, we saw up air, nair into grab, and that's just kind of how Mario operates. Look at this. Insanity.
So both of these players, I was going to ask what the key would be to this game, but apparently the game plan for both of these players is to just run in, because they both went in with combos right off the bat. Front dropped from Halo, ran underneath the platform of Beta, and immediately up and then started another combo off of that. And then you saw Beta get one grab, and all of a sudden sitting at 100 to 90% here. That's an interesting way to get back to stage 2. I actually kind of like that mix-up. Not going to lead to too much afterward. And the grab back throw, not going to do it quite yet for Beta, as Frud is off stage, and he will be able to make it back.
Yeah, I think Frud is hitting on exactly upon what I was going to say for him, which is be confident in your starters. Oh, that's unfortunate. The flood really interrupting the recovery, absolutely interrupting the recovery route. But Frud looks. Falcon up smashes a house, but to finish my point, being confident in where you find your openings and not just hunting for them but missing the follow-up is imperative in order to keep consistent as Falcon, who it's all or nothing sometimes with this character. In terms of how they're playing currently, it was a rough start, and the flood interruption, it definitely puts a problem into the plans. But when you find a dash attack, you really need to extend off of it. 12%, not compensating for rage on the starter, and that's really going to put a thorn into Frud's side. Once again, missing a chance for an open.
So Frud numerous times has gone for this down air by the ledge, trying to, I guess, two-frame him. Oh, what a cape by Beta. I don't know if that was just kind of a safe move from him or whether that was planned, but that was clean. And all of a sudden, Frud on his last stock. But I was going to say, Frud really wants this down air, and Beta is just not having it. He is recovering low every time, and the positioning, the instant snap to ledge on that up B is just allowing for no room for Frud to... Oh! Beta with the footstool, and Frud getting greedy and getting punished for it. Beta with a 2-stock in game number 2, and that's how Weber State seals the deal.
Now, to chain off what you were saying, so we'll let it play. We'll let it play first, and then we'll catch it again. The footstool there. So this position. Let me just look at this, right. 9 times out of 10, Frud was looking for a down air on ledge, like over here, trying to catch a 2-frame, because the 2-frame down air hits not only below ledge but also on to ledge. So going for Falcon Stomp is a relatively easy way to threaten recoveries. But Frud, as we see in the stock count, is down 2 stocks to 1, and has always stayed on stage. Hasn't really gone for many edge guards. This is a great potential mix-up for them to try and overextend, or to try and extend a little further and get away with it by going for a stop of their own. Most of the times Falcons will go for lingering hits of weak knee as well, or perhaps even back airs, but all of these are viable options for Falcons' edge guarding game plan. However, he fast falls too early and misjudges his trajectory. Instead of coming on top of Mario, he ends up plummeting down at a more steeper angle, and Beta just kind of takes advantage of that.
And the other thing too is that the down air mix-up is also good because Beta has been recovering low every time. He is instantly snapping to ledge with that up B almost every single time because, well, Frud is threatening the spike every single time. So if he's been able to space it out, why not go for it again? And the one time he goes off stage is the one time he gets punished for it.
Yeah, there was a couple moments where he was looking for back air earlier, trying to position himself correctly, but I don't hate the thought of that down air, especially since Beta wasn't ready for it. But as we saw in that potential knee combo, a little flub in execution, and Falcon can't make many of those if they want to stay in games, because they're hard punished for just the littlest of mistakes, as we see yet again. Trying to line up for a horizontal recovery, and Flood says no.
That was the first time we'd seen Frud go for the side B recovery all game too. So for Beta to catch that out was actually kind of crazy. I mean, yes, the jump comes out earlier, so the Flood was going to land, I think, either way, but still, it was quite the catch. And just kind of, sometimes it's better to be lucky than not, and
Yeah.
And that was the case on that stock in particular. This cape, though, he threw out the knee.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That was what a clutch cape here from Beta. I mean, that's the timing is everything here. Right as he jumps, the cape comes out, and there's nothing you can do after that cape comes out if you're Frud.
Yeah, already fast falling, had no resources. That was a wrap. And man, it was very well played on the part of Beta, and not poorly played on the part of Frud either. There was a lot of good moments for Frud to get started, but whether it be not compensating enough for rage or trying to hit a combo that was not exactly optimal for both the situation and both for the environment. He was looking for a moment of like down throw into back air, which is a true combo, but if you miss the raw back air, then you get nothing off of it, instead of just going for a down throw into dash attack or down throw into up air, which is a lot more consistent. And Beta played it well in the sense that they did good stuff. They did good stuff throughout the game, like that flood at the very end in the second stock. It was a good flood just because it was something that is part of Mario's natural game plan. Maybe he was reading a side B recovery, maybe he reacted to it, but either way, it was worth it to do because the flood was full, and it gives Mario more time at ledge to set up a proper ledge trap or to react and get more information. Good stuff characters can sometimes just do good stuff and win.
And that definitely was the case today for Beta. Looked very clean in that last set overall. Weber State, they get the victory here, 21-8 over Marquette. They advance to 2-2. Marquette, they fall to 4-8, and that playoff race for Marquette at least becomes a whole lot tougher. That being said, we will get the chance to speak to someone from Weber State after a short intermission. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the EGFC. We are back here with Beta from Weber State after their victory over Marquette. Beta, how are you feeling about your team's performance this week?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think everyone we wanted to show up today showed up, and it was just really good.
Alrighty, after a rough start to the EGF season, this being your first season with the league, you're now on a 2-game win streak that started eerily similar. How are you feeling about your team's play, not only over these past 2 weeks, but also how you feel like you're going to keep contending in the future?
I think that we have a bunch of really strong people here that play. Our characters are kind of a little unordinary, so I think that will help us out in the long run. But overall, we've done pretty well, and I think we will continue to do well into the season.
So to look back for a second on your particular set, I guess, what was your mindset, getting ready for the 5th set?
I don't know. I kind of, I just went in. I was just ready to play. You know, our play style is kind of a bit strange, but I think it works out well. So, I thought I'd do pretty well, and I ended up doing so. So, yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely say you did well, since it did result in a victory, not only for you, but also then cementing the victory for your team. So, mission accomplished. When it comes to that character unorthodoxness of your team's roster, I mean, Lucario, Duck Hunt, like, these are characters that very seldom get appearances. How do you help your team, or even do you help your team prepare with those characters, since they are very unseen?
I personally play a lot of characters, so whenever I play against those people, I like to do other things, and I think that helps out with matchup experience. Other than that, there isn't really a whole lot that I can do.
All right, I have kind of a 2-part question here for you. So, what do you think is your biggest strength as a player? And then to follow up on that, what do you think is your biggest strength as a team?
As a player, I think I go for the weird stuff that just shouldn't ever work, and it just kind of does sometimes. And I think that's my biggest strength. And as a team, I think we cover a lot of bases. I know that each of us have different matchups and stuff that we're both really strong with and really uncomfortable with. So being able to kind of think about that beforehand and decide based on that really helps us out as we go along.
Covering a lot of wide angles makes a lot of sense, on top of going for the weird stuff sometimes. I mean,
Yeah.
I always am of the opinion that if something is a thing, even though if it's not a absolute true combo, it should be kept in the back pocket every now and again.
Yeah.
But with your Mario play, it was extremely good, and with the entirety of the team performing after a very rough start in terms of a DQ and a hard loss, it's been admirable to see you guys collect yourselves and push forward on this win streak.
Thank you.
So, any final shout-outs that you have for both from anywhere that you see fit?
Yeah, I mean, Ray, I think he did a great job with that first game. Really, I don't know, it was a good first set, you know. And there are a bunch of other people in here with me that didn't end up playing, but they really helped us feel like we could do it.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of curious. What's the atmosphere like there at Weber State? Is it a lab that you guys play in, or are you just kind of in your own dorms?
Yeah, so we have this computer lab that we play in every Tuesday beforehand, and it's really fun to just meet in person with everyone and play a bunch of friendlies before our eventual sets. Well, games, yeah.
That's awesome.
Preparation. Yeah. Play as a team, prepare as a team too. That's sounds like a great time. And congratulations again to your team. Hope to see you perform just as well next week.
All right, thank you. See you then.
Yeah, we will. Thank you, and we will see you there. Congrats once again. And well, that about does it for us here at the EGF. We are gonna, I guess, wrap things up. I mean, this was another action-packed day. We had some very tight games and some surprises along the way, but I mean, like I've always said, the EGF every week there's always some surprise along the way, and I feel like Weber State here delivered in really a shocking manner here, because Marquette in that playoff race, they're kind of a staple name, and Weber State came through in the clutch.
Yeah, after a rocky start in the beginning, Weber State is starting to maybe show up as a potential dark horse, a little bit of an underdog story as we get into the final month of of the league and of this stretch. Really excited to see how it all plays out, who ends up making the playoffs, and who is unfortunately left home.
And stay tuned as the weeks go on to keep updated on that playoff race. We've got games across the board all week here at the EGF. So if you like the content you see, hit that follow button on all of the official EGF channels. Official EGF, official EGF2. Here is EGF SSBU. And if you like our content, our Twitters are down below. Thank you to production, Dill and Dev at House of 3000. They have done a fantastic job putting on these productions week in and week out. And I guess UBL, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Nope, my mind is clear, and I'm just excited to see what comes up in the world of Smash, starting tomorrow, actually, with House of 3000's own weekly, the Xeno series. So make sure to check that out, and make sure to check out all of the shenanigans that keep happening with this wonderful mess of a game we call Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Should be a fun one to see. All right, that is it for us here at EGF SSBU, and we will see you next week. Until then, adios.